Most of us would agree there's nothing quite like your first time. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a director's first film. And that brings us to today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, the first film by a director who went on to great success afterwards. But how was his first time? Let's check it out. Today's film is The Hand from 1981, 104 minutes in color for the most part. This is about a cartoonist whose life is totally shattered when his right hand, his drawing hand, is severed in an auto accident. But then soon after, his hand takes on a murderous life of its own. Or does it? Now, this was directed by Oliver Stone. It really technically, I guess, wasn't his first film. There's a film called Seizure I have never heard of before, but The Hand I have heard of. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat and say The Hand is his first major feature film. 5 years after he made The Hand, he made Salvador, which started a string of very successful films for him, sometimes controversial too. And Oscar nominated. Salvador was nominated for Oscar. After that, he made Platoon, which won Best Picture and Best Director for him. Then Wall Street, which won Best Actor for Michael Douglas. And then Born on the 4th of July, he won another Best Director Oscar. And then his other films after that, JFK and Nixon, were nominated for Oscars. His first Oscar actually was for the screenplay for Midnight Express in 1978. And that's what really gave him the opportunity to go ahead and make, direct and write is an adaptation, this film, The Hand. So I did have some expectations when I sat down to watch this. I've heard of this before. I heard it wasn't very good. But what I expected was, first of all, this would be one of those films where a guy loses his hand or both hands and they transplant hands onto him. But the hands they transplanted belonged to some mass murderer or some maniac. So now his hands have a mind of his own and then go out and kill people. That's not really what happens in this film. The other expectation I had was that this would be really bad and really unwatchable. That was not true either. The third expectation I had for this film was that Oliver Stone would totally slam it and disown it. And that's not true either, because in one of the extras he's interviewed, a much older man now, and he is rather proud of the film and he's pretty defensive about it. He does admit that he lost some control over the film while it was being made, and also that it pretty much ruined his career for several years. And it wasn't until 5 years later that he got the opportunity to make another film, Salvador. Oliver Stone is a guy who, whether you agree with his politics or not, is a very interesting guy, Vietnam veteran. He did the film Born on the 4th of July. I used to teach that autobiography in my class, and then we'd follow it up with the film. He wrote the screenplay for Scarface, the Brian De Palma film. And he just made films that had a knack of forgetting a lot of controversy and a lot of attention. So even though this is not his best film, of course, I'm not going to go for the low-hanging fruit and just like put this film down and slam it and everything, because I give credit to anybody like this who can make their creative vision possible, who can do something like make a film, a feature film especially like this. That's quite an accomplishment. I'm sure it's not an easy thing to do. So I give credit to people like that can do something like that. So, having said that though, there are a few problems I have with this film, and let me warn you, spoilers ahead, so spoiler alert. Here's the main problem I had is the hand itself, unfortunately, because he loses the hand in a car accident while they're driving through this field. Now, later on, we see the hand in the field, and it starts moving, the severed hand, and it's getting kind of dirty. There's bugs on it and stuff, but it starts moving. So I thought, okay, the hand is moving now. And then later on, we see it attacking other people, usually by strangling them, or we see it hiding in places in somebody's house. And I thought, well, how is this hand moving? Is it supernatural now? Did it get hit by lightning? What is going on with this hand? I don't quite get it. So, but we're made to sort of believe that it's really in the main character's head. Now, the main character is played by Michael Caine, and it's kind of hard to buy that concept because he's not always in the same scene or sometimes even in the same geographical location as when we see the hand moving around. Michael Caine is somewhere else. So I don't see how it could be him not controlling it, but all be in his head and that the hand doesn't really move at all. So I don't think it really makes sense. He does tell his friend that he's having blackouts from the accident. And there are a couple of moments here and there where the scene shifts to black and white momentarily. So maybe that's supposed to be the blackouts, but I didn't see any connection between those black and white sequences and the hand attacking somebody. So I didn't quite get that connection there. Now, Oliver Stone says this is not a horror film. It's a psychological thriller. And then one of the actresses in the film who's interviewed on this disc says that that Michael Caine's character believes that he sees his hand, but he really doesn't. It's really him. But at the end, he's convicted of murder or something. And he's in a room with a psychiatrist. She's about 10 feet away, sitting down. He's sitting down in another chair, both arms strapped to the chair. And then behind the psychiatrist, here comes the hand strangling her. So I don't know how it could be him. We don't see it from his point of view. So if that was the idea, that it's really all in his head and the hand is not really crawling around, it doesn't really quite make sense to me. So that's my main confusion about this film, unless I missed something. Anyways, Michael Caine, as I said, is the lead. He's excellent as always, of course. He has some pretty interesting hair in here, 1980s style. Practically a mullet at some points. His hair gets increasingly weirder and weirder as he kind of loses it throughout the film. He does have an Evil Dead 2 moment with the hand. If you've seen that film, you know what I'm talking about, where it's one point his severed hand is strangling him and he has to pretend as he's writhing around on the floor that this hand is moving around strangling him. And, you know, hey, he commits to it and it's kind of funny, but he does what he can with that. It's not over the top like Evil Dead 2 was supposed to be, kind of ridiculous and over the top. I also should mention Carlo Rimbaldi. He did the special effects. I'm sure he's best known for creating E.T., but he also worked on Alien, and he worked on Dune, the David Lynch version, which I think is better. And for all you Giallo fans, he worked on Deep Red. And interestingly, Michael Caine's character does get a prosthetic hand, and he wears a black leather glove. So I don't know if that was a tip-off to Giallo or just convenient to have him wear a glove so he'd have to show that prosthetic hand all the time throughout the film. So am I going to give the hand the middle finger? No, I'm not. I'm going to give this one 3 cats out of 5. You thought I was going to say 3 hands, didn't you? So why cats? There are like 2 or 3 really cheap jump scares where it's very quiet. Michael Caine's looking around, and then here comes his cat, wow, out of the corner of the screen, and it's a cheap jump scare. So that happens a couple times. But you know, Caine is good. It's watchable. It's not boring. I was entertained by it. But it has its problems. So I'm going to say 3 cats. So what's on this disc? This is a Scream Factory disc. It looks fine. It has a audio commentary by Mr. Stone himself, which is probably pretty interesting, but I did not listen to it. There are about 4 interviews, one with Stone, that was good, 2 different actors, and then the producer, and they run about 10 to 15 minutes each. So where can you see the hand? I don't see it streaming anywhere. I assume you can rent it. You might try your local library. Right now on Amazon it's listed for $25. I think that's a bit much to pay for this. I got it on sale, a Scream Factory sale. I think I paid $15, so I just kind of threw it in the cart with everything else. And I think it was worth $15. If you're a horror fan, Oliver Stone fan, $15 I think is worthwhile. So that's it for The Hand. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. I want to give a shout out, as the kids say, to the following people who left wonderful comments for these episodes since my last episode: Martin, Neil, Diod, Chris, Tina, of course, and Anthony. Thank you so much for commenting. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. New subscriber, Burn Roddy, thank you so much for subscribing. We're almost at our goal of 400. I believe if you do subscribe, there's a bell icon that you have to click on, and that will notify you when a new episode is available for you. Also a reminder, if you have the Letterboxd app, the Kazdoy Closet is on there, where I give very brief reviews about stuff on here, but also stuff that I don't talk about on this channel, mainly stuff that I stream or stuff I just don't want to do an episode on. So feel free to subscribe, check that out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. See you next time.